Namaste, Jayant, and welcome to yet another edition of Take 3 with me, Zaka Jacob and Rahul Shivshankar. Two issues which have now become quite contentious for different reasons, but all around Astha and faith, ladies and gentlemen. One is the Tirupati issue, which started from the Laddus and now it's somewhere become political, with Jagan Mohan Reddy wanting to go to the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. As we have this conversation, the plans are afoot. It's not happened, but we will try and dwell into that. The other aspect is this notification. Should you or should you not know which place you're eating, who are the persons cooking, and should it not be healthy? These are concerns that have been raised in UP, and then everybody said, that's wrong, that's unconstitutional when he did it during Kawad Yatra. And now in Himachal, they're saying, there may be some sense, because there's a groundswell in Himachal too, that they want this understanding. So we'll talk about both these subjects today over the course of the next half an hour. But first, Zaka Jacob, Tirupati. It starts with Laddu and it's now ending up at Jagan. What's your take on this?
So let me start with the Laddu. So the Laddu story actually it got revealed to the public when Chandrababu Naidu revealed it, right? This is the Chief Minister, he's made the announcement. Whenever a politician reveals something, there is a political motive to it. Otherwise, politicians are masters at hiding stuff. So Chandrababu Naidu reveals it, and then almost like an orchestra, then Pawan Kalyan picks it up, and then Jagan's party responds to it. But here's the interesting thing, I've got notes. I never get notes on Take 3, by the way, because I don't need notes to take on you guys. But on this story, I've got notes. And this is what the EO's report, which is the executive office, the executive board
Shamal
of
Rao.
Shamal Rao, who is a political appointee, by the way, appointed by the TDP. The EO report, 40-page report that's been submitted to Mr. Chandrababu Naidu. This is what it says, and I'm quoting from it. 2 tankers of ghee, one on 6/7/2024 and 2 tankers on 15/7/2024, were sent to the National Dairy Development Board lab in Anand in Gujarat. They were found to be of poor quality during the physical verification and were suspected they had adulterated ghee. Therefore, they were sent to the NDDB lab, and the lab then sent back the report on 16/7 and 23/7 saying that it had animal fat, vegetable and animal fat-based adulterants, including lard. Now, these 4 were the tankers that were sent. These 4 were not used to make the laddus. Now, what was used to make the laddus has not been tested. We don't know whether that had, animal lard or vegetable fat or whatever it had. We don't know that. So the suspected tankers were sent, they were tested, and it turns out that, yes, they had animal lard. But we don't know about the rest.
But here's the sequence on what happened there. There were 8 tankers in all. 4 were allowed. The laddus that were made from them were smelling foul, and they went bad, and there were complaints that there is something wrong with the laddu. So the tankers that were allowed in the first place, because there was no testing. It's just
they don't have a testing.
They don't have, and it was random checking, and then they let these 4 tankers go. They stopped these tankers moment those laddus were foul, and there was something wrong with those laddus. Those laddus were already made and they were gone. 3 lakh laddus per day is what is made in Tirupati. So there is all this ghee that is used, and at least 4 tankers are used in a day. So that's what happened. And you see the dates. It's not on the same day. One is on the 6th of July, and those tankers, the other tankers on the 15th of July. So it's not the same lot of tankers.
So 2 tankers on 6th and 2 tankers on 15th.
Correct.
4 tankers were sent.
4 tankers were sent. But that's what happened, that there is a list where 4 tankers were cleared and 4 were stopped. So these were the 4. Those 4 that were cleared, the laddus that were made out of that, there was a problem and people were complaining.
So why didn't they stop those other 4 tankers?
Because the laddus had already been made. They, like I said, there is no, right now, that's the shocking part. In Tirupati, there is no testing mechanism of testing the ghee that comes on a daily basis. It's just random checking and random sampling, and that too not by a testing laboratory or an authority. So in that case, the laddus have already been made. You can't bring back the ghee out of that laddu. It's gone. But the laddu had a problem, and that's why they said, okay, let's sample the rest of the tankers. So that's one point of this. But there are others who are astikas and regular people who have gone to Tirupati who have said that over the last 6 months to 1 year, there has been a serious deterioration in the quality of the laddus. So the assumption is that for every 4 tankers which is clean ghee, there are 4 tankers which are adulterated ghee. Otherwise, you cannot supply pure cow ghee at 320 rupees per kilo. That's the point.
Let's ask the ghee consumer.
No, actually, that's the point that I was going to actually pick up on, which is the cost. Now, apparently, look, I'm not an expert on all of this, so I'm going to very quickly move on to something else, but which version to believe I'll come to. But the fundamental thing is that, look, obviously there was a need. Now, why this need arose, I can't say, but there was a need to sort of be conservative on costs. because suddenly one particular dairy, which was a regular supplier from Karnataka, decided to sort of up the stakes. And it was thought that necessary that, look, we've got to beat them down or we go somewhere else. And you go out and you pick up a bunch of 4 or 5 suppliers. Now that in itself sort of makes one wonder, without passing any judgment on AR Dairy or the others, because that still has to be proven and there could be legal consequences if I here sort of impute any motives. But anything that comes cheaper to you, just flip it over to check once. That's common, consumption wisdom.
See, I don't know how much you are involved in the household purchases, but I certainly am. And I know that nothing less than 1,000 rupees per kilo of ghee
That's right.
is available out in the market. Now, the gradients range from 1,000 rupees to 1,500 rupees. If somebody is giving me pure cow ghee for 320 rupees per kilo and it's pure cow ghee, I will call that supplier and say, listen, on behalf of the entire society that we are, we'll buy in bulk. But that's not possible.
So,
it's not possible.
So which version to believe? It'll be a while before the truth rises to the surface, proverbially like the ghee. But what some Hindu well-wishers are thankful for is that clarified laddu, let's put it like that, slightly reverentially, are thankful that it has finally brought the focus back to what can be described. Now, this is where I want to take this conversation as the nationalization of Hinduism. People got worked up about the nationalization of their assets, when the government reached out into our pockets, so to speak, and monetized our money in our bank accounts.
Yeah.
That was a process of nationalizing our savings in a sense. Okay. So people got very worked up about that. But a large number of Hindus in this country are not bothered about the nationalization of their faith. Here is a state that takes money from the devotees but can't ensure that they get kosher prasadam because they can't spare a little bit of money to set up a testing laboratory.
Can't they? They don't want to.
I don't know about that. See, again, I'm not going to impute
See,
motives.
if there is one Devasthanam or temple across the whole wide world which can afford to have a testing lab,
Exactly.
He's
like
Tirupati.
a proper, all the tests that are required.
Yeah, is Balaji's. So
Secondly,
it's not happening consistent.
Secondly, I'm shocked to know just before we came in here on that other issue of Jagan that we can get to, whether he should declare, sign the form, etc., that someone decided in 2020, apparently the head of the TTB, the board,
TTD,
at that time decided that we'll do away with this declaration business. Right. Now, it so happens that he was the uncle of Jagan Reddy, and then Jagan, of course, goes to the temple but doesn't sign the declaration, etc. Now, this change has happened without taking the living deity and his views, so to speak, into consideration.
Yeah.
So the state is not only administering the temple, but also the way you are going to now propitiate the god.
See, there is
one second.
This is a travesty.
This matter before Jagan went.
Yeah.
In fact, the first temple that he visited after he won in 2019 was Tirupati. He went there, offered the archana. Did all the rituals associated there. It was challenged in the court. Right. This was challenged in a PIL that was filed by an advocate. It was challenged in the court saying he can't go, or if he goes, then he has to declare. The court threw it out. And the court threw it out by saying that anyone can be a devotee of Lord Balaji. And Jagan
correct.
If he's a devotee, he can go.
No, here's the thing. Anyone can be a devotee of Lord Balaji, just like anybody can go to the Velankani church.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's no stopping. Yeah. But there is a limit that beyond a certain point, you cannot get into the sanctum. You do not get to be part of the archana and be a...
But there are pictures of him offering the
correct.
archana.
But the problem there, Zaka, is that's where this entire aspect of state influence happens, where the agamas or those who are supposed to run the daily affairs of the temple under the head priest who is acting on behalf of the living deity, whose rights are there, Tirupati,
but
is mixed...
This comes back to the
One
same
second,
argument.
let me just
argument, no, Anand,
let me just complete. Let me just complete.
If half the population, women are going to be left out of Shabrimala, then
no.
Where is
Please,
the equality
please, no.
I mean, this is a country where Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister of this country, was not allowed to go to the Puri Jagannath temple.
Please understand. At least just let me complete.
Please, yeah.
What I'm saying is, the constant call has always been, you want to administer a temple, you run the administration and there is a certain state control, that's okay. But the deity's affairs, the daily affairs of puja, archana, bhog and access and all of that should be with the priests, the agamas who follow a particular tittam or a particular rule of the deity of that temple. Now, even in the case of Shabrimala, The rule is individual to each deity, it's not common to all. So what applies to a Sabrimala deity or the Ayyappa there in Sabrimala does not apply to a Krishna in Guruvayur. And what applies to a Krishna in Guruvayur does not apply to a Krishna in Natwara. Each deity's rules are different.
Again,
so in Sabrimala, the deity is perennial, you know the constitution, the deity has perennial living rights.
Yes.
The deity is always the same age. The deity does not grow. In Sabrimala, the Ayyappa is a minor, he is 14 years old. So the rule of the temple, the Tittam is that women who have attained puberty do not go there because of, so that's the way, that's why women were restricted. So the whole thing was corrupted, the whole narrative was corrupted.
What did the law say? What did the constitution bench of the Supreme Court say? My point is here, as far as Jagan is concerned, let's come back to Jagan. Let's come back to Jagan.
You missed exactly what I said. Now you have fallen straight into the problem. No, he started by saying, I don't need your notes to now. Let me come back.
That was for the laddu.
Now let me come back. Now let me come back. Okay, look, I began by saying that this is a problem of the nationalization of Hinduism.
Exactly.
Right? Why should the state be interpreting customs? One second.
Are you saying
you're not letting me complete?
It was okay
for you're not allowing me to complete.
The Puri Jagannath temple to not allow the sitting Prime Minister to enter? Are you seriously saying that?
Once you allow the state, right, in the interest of equity, article this, that, the other, to intercede and say, okay, we are going to regulate customs, then do it across the board. Then it can't be that one faith, their customs are codified, and some other faiths, there's an exception. Then the state is not being a neutral
Not just state,
arbiter.
even the top court, sir.
I want to ask you a question, since you know a lot about all these issues. This halal that happens, can a non-Muslim perform halal?
No.
Why?
No, it's not allowed.
But why?
It's not allowed.
So
you have to convert.
So Hindus,
you have to convert.
So Hindus, their, as I'm saying, customs are codified. But there are exceptions for other faiths. And the
but
Hindu,
in other faiths
and
there
the
is no
Hindu,
exception.
and the Hindus.
But Rahul, no one's stopping you from entering a mosque.
Are quiet.
No one is stopping you from entering Haji Ali or Jama Masjid.
Those are Sufi shrines or dargahs. They're not a mosque.
Jama Masjid. It's a Sunni shrine. You can go to any mosque. You can go to Bada Imam Rai.
No, but you'll have to follow their rules.
During the
Of course
time,
you have to follow their rules.
You'll have to follow their
Stopping
rules.
you from
And
entering.
the moment you offer prayer there, you have to.
No, during the time of the Jummah, I have been asked not to go into Jama Masjid. I had gone there once to sightsee and take some friends of mine who were visiting from abroad. All of us were told, Abhi Jummah ka samay hai. We're doing our prayers. After that, you can go in.
Jagan's case, the TDP's contention is, we will stop him from entering the temple if he doesn't declare.
Correct. But
I mean, how is that
that's
correct?
the politics.
How can they stop anyone from entering the temple?
That's the politics of it, and that's the sad part of it, that everybody is busy playing politics, and the politics is influencing the agamas or the running of the temple itself.
APJ Abdul Kalam had no problem signing the declaration, just to put it out there.
So we've got to, Jagan Mohan Reddy, if he respects Lord Balaji, he shouldn't have the time. He shouldn't have a problem, politics or otherwise. And it settles the matter then and there itself. Okay, we've got to take a short break. When we come back, another matter of Astha, this name board aspect. If you see the visuals, then you'll wonder who's right and who's wrong. Stay with us.